Well. Good evening, John. Good early evening, I should say.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
We had a medical emergency.
What did you do?
Somebody broke their arm.
What, in the gym?
Yeah.
Ooh, you want to elaborate on that while we wait?
They felt dizzy, fell over, broke their arm.
Jesus Christ, you're not going to get a lawsuit, are you?
Well, they felt dizzy, fell over, broke their arm.
But for those, obviously, you are the other side of this. I'm sitting here, the splash screen's up, show's starting soon, and I'm sitting here by myself, twiddling my thumbs, going, "Where the fuck is he?"
So 6 hours for an ambulance.
Yep.
So we wrapped a bit of cardboard around it.
Right.
With gaffer tape.
Yep.
And their mum and dad took them to hospital.
Well, at least they're getting some kind of medical attention, am I right?
Yeah.
And
I used my previous experiences being trained in first aid.
to make a makeshift splint.
Yes.
There we go. So, John, would you like to introduce the show before these wonderful people they can see behind us come on the screen?
Well, good evening, everyone, because this is a special. It's not your normal After Dark. We're going to listen to the conservative leadership hustings. Or should I say, it could almost be the Labour Party these days.
Yeah.
You know, really. And we have Rishi Sunak, aka the Rat.
Yep, Rishi the Rat. I like that.
And Liz the Truss.
Liz, I would like to arm Taiwan and start World War III. Truss.
Yeah. And both of them are as bad as each other, to be fair.
So,
there isn't a political leader in the world that one could trust just now anyway, is there?
No, there's not. And before they come on the screen, I want to elaborate on something we were speaking about last night. It's true. YouTube have changed their policy about medical misinformation. And basically everything I ever said on the channel that I owned is now true, according to YouTube. So I've sent Emma at YouTube an email.
Yeah, or if not true, then not a reason for banishing your account.
Well, exactly. So I've sent Emma at YouTube an email kindly demanding that they reinstate my channel. Because, let's face it, I did nothing wrong. We know I did nothing wrong. And now they're saying that anybody that says the same stuff I said will not get any kind of punishment. So, I think, rightfully so, it's time to give it back, don't you, John?
Yes, I think so.
I think so. I think it's time to give it back. And that had over 1,000 subscribers on it. So... here we go.
Good movement.
We've got sound.
Well, as a colleague,
I'd love to get him back into the Labour Party.
So here we go.
We have to get around this problem, and hopefully it will get sorted out.
Oh, it's Corbyn. Good evening, Militant Mushroom, and good evening anybody watching on any platform right now. We have to stop Labour.
Why? Why do they have to stop it? Because they want to remain in power and get lots of money.
Yeah, they want to remain in power and get lots of money. That's absolutely right. I'm going to have to turn this down a little bit so that they can hear you as well.
Donate to the Leaders Fund. Why? Why should we donate to the Leaders Fund?
I'm not going to donate to the Leaders Fund.
No.
So we are in Norwich tonight, by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So far, not very exciting.
Chairman of the National Convention, Peter Booth.
Oh, it's Peter Booth, ladies and gentlemen. Who's Peter Booth, John?
He's the chairman of the National Convention.
Good evening, Sean Fennessy, who says, "Evening, Ben and John."
Norwich.
Oh, good evening, Peter.
Very lively, a lot more lively than they were in Birmingham. This is the
Well, that's because Birmingham's the most boring place known to man.
I mean, let's look at Peter here. He looks like the life of the party, doesn't he?
Me, the production team and me and all the people who've been all the time, we're getting a bit
Oh,
now.
good grief.
It's good to be here in our eastern region and to welcome your regional chairman, Colin Noble.
Oh, so we're getting somebody else come now. It's Colin. Hi, Colin.
Why Birmingham in the eastern region? Birmingham not on the west side of the country.
These hustings are for us, the members of the Conservative Party.
Yeah, they're not for the general public who don't get to vote for the Prime Minister.
Yeah. We get to choose our new leader.
Is this a great exercise of democracy,
She
really?
announced on the 5th of September
I'll be honest, I'm surprised that this is getting televised or they're even entertaining, letting us, the more unwashed, look at it.
Yeah.
I found chairing the hustings a surprisingly positive experience. The members really put the two candidates through their paces and asked some very searching questions.
Did they? Isn't Julia Hartley-Brewer leading this one, yeah?
Your questions searching.
Apparently.
To make them succinct and to ask questions.
So she had to travel to Norwich today.
And one question
so.
each, please.
Is that so much of a hardship?
Well, Sean Fennessy says pantomime. Yeah.
Both of our candidates have a duty and a desire
This is
to
Norwich.
fulfill our 2019 manifesto.
That's why it's
Will be about how to go
Do you
about
remember the
achieving
2019 manifesto?
very difficult
Because
world
it's very different to what they're doing now.
Post-Brexit, post-COVID, in uncertain times internationally. Just look at Ukraine.
He said post-COVID. That means we're past it.
That's what he just said.
He just said that.
He just said it.
Oh, don't bring it up again.
Don't bring it up again. Do you think Julia's going to go in on Rishi about what the statements he's been making?
If she doesn't, she's not a journalist.
I agree.
But, I mean, he's making some pretty wild claims now.
He is. He's making.
For him to make those claims and then he'd sat back and did nothing about it.
Yeah.
No, that's not the actions of a leader.
No.
He's actually just put himself out of contention, I would
And
say.
in fact, not only did he do nothing about it, he created the furlough scheme, which just emboldened what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Enabled them. He actually enabled them.
Yes, he did.
Voting online is the way to go.
Online voting is the way to go, is it?
It does. Yeah.
Some urgency now. Please contact your
Through your Dominion voting machine.
Yeah.
help you out.
Definitely not in any way compromised. No.
No, not compromised at all.
And there's absolutely no way that the leaders of a certain company named Solar Winds may have had some. No, definitely not.
Win the next election.
That's something we're going to deep dive in at some point soon, John.
Oh, God.
Solar Winds and Dominion.
Everyone,
Oh.
at the end of this democratic process,
This isn't a democratic process. I'm sorry, but it's not.
we have many new members who should be contacted and made to feel welcome.
Oh, it's a private membership scheme. Oh, it can't be democratic.
Well, exactly. Well, it's democratic within the organisation, but it's affecting the country as a whole. So the country as a whole should probably have a say.
Yeah, it should.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get on with the show.
And they're calling it a show.
Please welcome
what
Andrew
is it
Stevenson, Chairman of the Conservative Party.
Now we've got Andrew Stevenson, Chairman of the Conservative Party.
That guy was chairman of the convention, so this guy's chairman of the party. Hello, Norwich.
The penultimate hustings. We've been travelling around the country, Peter and I, and the team organising these hustings. We've been to the north, the south, the west, the northwest, the southwest. So I'm delighted that
Exactly, Sean. Sean says in the chat, the show, just lol.
Have they been to Scotland?
The contest has now gone on.
Do you think Cranky would have let them go to Scotland?
True that the
Not
two
up
campaigns
Cranky. This is a national party.
Yeah, I know.
Hustings by this point are
Cranky has no say over this.
But we're not doing this to keep the Westminster media bubble entertained.
John,
We're doing this for
Ben.
you.
I'm going to need you to entertain them for about 3 minutes. I've just realised I've forgotten all my medication.
Conservative members
I'll be back.
from all parts of our country deserve their chance to see the two leadership contenders in action and to ask them the questions that you want answered.
Can there be any questions left at this point? That is the question. That's the question I want answered.
The choice is yours.
And are they going to answer my question I sent to Julia this morning or this afternoon?
From meeting Conservative activists at the 60-plus campaigning sessions I've taken part in since taking over as chairman.
Oh my, it's all about you, isn't it?
I'm hearing from the party's grassroots too. I heard it today when I was out campaigning with Tom Hunt in Ipswich and Chloe Smith's constituency here in Norwich. I heard it yesterday in Peterborough with Paul Bristow. Because we all know that we must unite and get behind these brilliant MPs and all the other brilliant MPs in the
Why must we? Hold on a minute. Aren't they supposed to work for us? Why are we having to go behind them when they should be working for us and they should be behind us?
This country needs a strong, united
Absolutely.
Conservative leadership.
Everything is
The
backwards.
challenges we face.
These
Whoever you
people,
vote for
they
in this
have
contest
no
will become
no
a
regard
brilliant
for
leader
you
and
whatsoever.
Prime Minister.
Just saying, but well,
Both Liz
he
and
hasn't
Rishi
years on
have
yet.
shown their qualities in government.
He's
and
still
during
talking.
this leadership
Yeah,
period.
he's still talking shit.
They've demonstrated
I like that.
the need to drive
Brilliant
Britain
MPs.
forward
This is comedy gold.
take
These
on
things are
the
always
hardest
comedy
Oh,
gold.
in this country.
It's like
They will
he
move
said, we've
forward
got to get
together.
behind these brilliant MPs. Hold on a minute. Why? Why?
By our Prime
It's supposed
Minister,
to work for
Boris
us.
Johnson,
They should be behind us.
shown
Yeah.
that a Conservative government can rise to the challenges of today.
Really?
Getting Brexit done.
Yes.
Delivering the fastest vaccine
Hold
rollout
on a
in
minute.
Europe,
Brexit-
protecting
is Brexit
14
not
million
done?
Jobs during the pandemic, and leading the
He's
world
saying that he
in
got
supporting
Brexit done. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
and
right.
standing up to
Who
Putin.
cares?
It is a truly historic.
Yeah.
Sean says we are less than vermin to them. And you know what? Yeah.
Well,
The
yeah.
alternative,
You
of
know,
course, doesn't
stop
bear
going on about
calling
Putin
itself.
because
It is a
I'm
lie.
thinking I'm going to do a video.
Against tax cuts for low-income families,
I
against
would like to see that
investment in
video,
our
John.
NHS,
Yes, I
against
think I
protecting
might.
our borders,
Because
and
I
tackling
think
vile
I
people smugglers.
came across some stuff
And
today
let's not
online.
forget
Yeah.
Sir Keir
I
Starmer's
started going down rabbit holes and deep diving, but it's all from reputable sources. So
people, and twice
and U.S. intelligence leaks and things like that. Well, they knew this was going to happen way back in
That
October.
is not somebody.
You know,
I want to see
John
from
does
this
like a
country.
rabbit
I
hole.
know it's not somebody we want to see.
But yeah. So and you remember when this thing happened and Biden started talking about it,
Leading the way
he was
in standing up for
he
our
knew it was
ideals
happening.
and our
Yes.
partners on the world
Have you
stage.
seen, and I'm going to be careful with my words at the moment, but something tells me I might not need to be soon. Something tells me some policy changes are coming because Trump is starting to be blamed for certain rollouts, isn't he?
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Stuff,
Oh,
treatment.
hold on, it's Julia.
Oh God, I hope Spencer's not around.
Evening, indeed, from Norwich to Norwich. Welcome to the penultimate hustings, as the gentleman have mentioned,
Jesus.
in the race to become elected the next leader of the Conservative Party. But again, a small point for lots of people watching online and people who get to, well, I suppose the current.
She's very manly, isn't she?
Prime Minister.
I'm not
Welcome
saying
here
anything.
to
I
those
don't want to get
who
accused of
to
hate
ask
speech.
questions, but also to those watching
Oh, I'm not hate speech. I'm just saying she's
Stream. The whole
quite,
event is being live
quite
streamed on
square-jawed and
YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Tonight, as you know, we are going to hear from Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and former Chancellor of the Exchequer Rishi Sunak, the two candidates fighting it out for the top job. Of course, only Conservative Party members will get to cast their vote to make that choice.
So
But
why
the
are we
issues,
doing
as I say, will
this?
say so
Yes,
over
why are we doing this? Why are we here, Ben?
Thursday in office, cost of living
Well, we're here to
crisis,
mock
NHS
them.
wages,
That's why
We're
we're
here to, we're here to take the living pish out of them.
we're going to extract the urine.
Yes.
In 11 days' time, we will know who has won. But before those final votes are cast, tonight Conservative Party members here in this room
She's good at reading a script, old Julia, isn't she?
questions,
Well, not really.
and I will also
I think
That's
uh,
He's got quite a lot.
I think our good old dear Rebecca there wants to know if she is secretly male.
You're going to hear from this evening.
She might be, I don't know.
Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak. But first, let's hear from one of his supporters.
Right.
Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, Steve Barclay.
Oh, good God.
It's Barclay!
He's just been harangued, has he not?
Good evening, everyone. As East of England MP, it's great to see so many of our members here for our
What do you mean?
regional
An East of England MP, not the East of England MP.
Yep.
meeting the significant challenge that our country faces. We need a Prime Minister with the
Oh,
courage
you put us in a position to meet it.
who
Yep.
will act decisively and bring people with us.
I've said it before, I'll say it
Rishi
again.
Sunak, as I know
The only reason we're in a cost of living crisis is because they closed the goddamn economy for 2.5
and he
years.
has the capability and experience
Absolutely.
to lead the country through the difficult times.
What did they think was going to happen? Rishi's now saying, isn't he?
Rishi showed
Saying,
when, as a
Adam, he
comparatively
says,
new
put the kids to bed so I can settle down and watch
He
this
was
amazing
warned
spectacle with you all. Well, if you are in your studio, Adam, then
However,
feel
he
free
and
to
I have
become
both
a third
been
person
consistent
here,
supporters before,
if you'd like.
during, and after the referendum. He has demonstrated the ability to act decisively and deliver in the most challenging
What about?
of national circumstances.
He
When
says,
the pandemic
okay,
struck,
so it looks like the
he was
third
not
member of...
bound
We
by
will be
Rishi's
whole for a night,
policies,
John.
Who's he talking about? He's talking about Sunak.
Yeah, he's talking about Rishi.
policies
Demonstrated sod all.
Sean Fennessy says that this is a controlled demolition of society. Well, at this point, you do have to. You can really come to no other conclusion, can you?
In this room and many more.
We've shuttered the economy for 2.5 years. We've absolutely destroyed you guys' lives. Oh, but now it's Putin's fault. That's what there's. None of them can accept accountability. And what Rishi is doing right now is he's trying to say. He's trying to play the hero, isn't he? He's trying to. Well, I told them this would happen. I told them this would happen. And they deleted my comments. It's basically what he's saying.
And indeed.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a public figure. He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, for God's sake.
And like I said, he enabled them with the furlough scheme.
Yeah, instead of doing that, he could have turned round and said, what channel are we on?
We're watching Talk TV.
Channel are we?
With the British public in the pandemic, he made it clear.
Are we broadcasting on?
And chasing Dissent.
And in this,
why does it say Liberty Media in the corner?
It doesn't say Liberty Media in the corner.
The screen that you're showing me.
They can't see that. That's just. I'm watching YouTube through that channel.
For we know that nothing.
But we are broadcasting on the other channel.
More than inflation. Nothing destroys prosperity more than inflation. And it's no surprise.
Oh, yes.
And you created the bloody inflation!
Tame inflation once before.
Jesus Christ!
Let me get this straight. They've done nothing but print money for 2 years and give it to people. Right? And then they blame whom for this inflation?
Putin! Do it. Push it. Push the button.
Our region also needs
Putin!
the super deduction tax relief has benefited many of our small and medium businesses here.
Oh yeah.
Until they all go bust because they can't pay their fucking electric bills.
Or the rent.
Or their rent.
Living pressures have all been and continue to be crucial to our region.
Nothing destroys prosperity more than politicians, says Sean. I'm liking Sean. Sean's coming out with some zingers tonight.
Oh, she seems quite switched on.
He does.
And community services, something that I fought hard for.
And if you are watching this on YouTube, then please give it a like and give it a share.
These guys make me sick. It's all about them.
Us.
I did that. I did this. I enabled this. I did this.
Me.
No, you did fuck all.
Me, the Conservatives, me, we did it. Yes, you did do something. You destroyed the economy.
It's an honour amongst fellow Conservatives to be able to introduce Rishi Sunak.
Here comes Rishi the Rat. Here comes Rishi the Rat. Oh, he's got a ready for Rishi video. Should we watch it? Hi, Adam.
Why should we? God, that's such a sickening rebel.
My values, traditional conservative values, are clear.
The charisma on him, my values.
Patriotism.
Hi, Adam.
Fairness,
Evening.
love of family, pragmatism, but also an unshakable belief that we can build a better future.
Sorry.
We need a Prime Minister with experience of dealing successfully with huge problems.
Richard Bacon.
James Cartledge.
We're just going to shout out names now.
George Freeman.
The whole of Norfolk.
Hancock.
There he is. Got a 6 o'clock shadow as well.
Rishi Sunak.
I'm ready for Rishi. Are you?
Keep repeating his name. Have you noticed that? Just so people don't forget.
Good evening. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Great. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. It's great to be with you. Really good. Thank you for having me. I must say, we've done, gosh, there's 11 of these.
Why didn't we put ourselves through this?
Disco ball, I've noticed. So thank you, CCHQ. Brilliant stuff. Look, I am standing here in front of you tonight because our country did something really extraordinary for my family.
Into Top Man for his suit again, hasn't he?
Years ago, and allowed them to build a better.
Does anyone remember Top Man?
Yeah, he didn't go to Top Man. He sent someone to Top Man.
Yes.
means everything.
Go and fetch me a Kia so I can pretend to fill it up with petrol. Remember that debacle?
Are far greater than anything any government.
What is a Kia anyway? It's some kind of small animal. And why am I putting petrol in this?
Hold on, his dad was an NHS GP.
Oh, of course he was, yeah. Yeah,
and
so
his mum ran the local chemist, guys. I mean, we haven't heard all of this a fucking million times already, have we?
So his dad will be not be working anymore.
Well, no.
And even if he was of age to be working, he wouldn't be working anymore because GPs don't work anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
Just calls, and you have to wait 3 weeks for that.
Yeah, I had
for an ambulance.
I had a phone call. I had a telephone consultation with the GP today. I tried to ask him a question. He went, "Okay, bye," and hung up.
Just to interrupt, what are those drinks? Why is there a bright red and a bright green drink?
It's the red pill and the green pill. Well, why did you got to take, Rishi? You got to take the red pill.
Go on, Rishi. Wake up from the simulation.
It automatically ducks the audio when we start speaking.
And the audio's full. That's as loud as it goes.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but it ducks when we start speaking, which is good because nobody really wants to listen to him talking shit.
Well, no, they don't.
Restore trust. Next, we need to rebuild the economy, and then we need to reunite our country.
If you hadn't brought it down in the first place, we wouldn't be doing that, would we?
Well, exactly.
We've forgotten about that. We've forgotten all about that.
Oh, yeah.
If we hadn't destroyed the economy, we wouldn't need to fix the economy.
Actually been out in the sun.
And even though that doesn't make my life easy, it is honest, and that is what leadership is all about.
Yeah, but you sat there and kept your mouth shut when you were listening into all those SAGE meetings that you didn't agree with and never told anyone.
Yeah.
That's not leadership.
No, it's not. It's not leadership. If he really did disagree with all of this, why didn't he publicly go out and say, look, this is going to absolutely destroy the economy?
Lefty wokes, did you hear that? He mentioned the lefty woke culture.
But he didn't say anything because he was just doing his job.
All right, let's sit back and listen to it. Let's listen to him for a minute.
Look at where that bloke's clapping as well.
Hold on. His rural community includes a fucking £1.5 million swimming pool and leisure centre, and he's going house.
It's not his fault.
Something tells me with that accent, Rishi, your local community is not rural Yorkshire. I never heard a Yorkshireman sound that posh.
No.
To finally get to grips with illegal migration.
The sheep will not understand them.
Our country's proud, compassionate history in welcoming people to our shores. But it must be done legally.
I agree with that.
It must be done fairly. And we turn on our TV screens and see people coming here breaking those rules.
Tell your pal Pretty to stop it.
Well, yeah, tell her to stop it.
Yeah, Pretty Pathetic's not doing a very good job.
Restore trust and ensure that we have proper control of our
and what is the Royal Navy meant to be doing? Because ever since they started on this, it's got worse.
When it comes
they're a taxi service, John.
Yeah, but I mean, Boris sent the Royal Navy in to help out, and all they've done is bring more people in.
That's what he sent them to do. He sent them to be a taxi service, John.
Yeah.
Now, this autumn and winter, I want to make sure that we help people with the cost of living, not just
serious stuff now.
by cutting VAT and energy bills, but by going further to directly support the most vulnerable in our society.
Cutting VAT and energy bills isn't going to cut it, Rishi.
No, what you need to do is start legislating against the profiteering of the energy companies. It's quite bloody easy.
Is pursue policies that risk
and stop subscribing to this woke green shit.
Yeah. Scrap the green agenda. Scrap it completely.
Stop the charge to the bottom. That's what we're.
The green levy.
Because that is not right. It's not responsible, and it is certainly not conservative.
You're not a conservative either. Oh, you look at the camera there.
Now, of course, I'm going to cut your taxes, but I'm going to do that responsibly by being tough on public spending.
You've done nothing responsibly so far, so why are you going to start now?
I'm going to radically change how we tax businesses in this country, rewarding those businesses with tax cuts when they are actually investing and expanding for those businesses.
Do you think that red and green drink is actually a Russian roulette, and him and Liz Truss will sit either side, and one will drink one colour and the other one will just keel over?
That would be interesting. That would be a show.
That would be the best way of
That's like Putin's way.
So what they do is they toss a coin to decide So they toss a coin, they get to decide, that coin decides who gets to choose. And then the other one just gets the one that's left over.
That's why I
Sounds
came
fair.
up with a radical new Brexit policy of free ports to attract jobs and investment to our country and put one right
Free ports aren't new.
to the east of England.
They've been banging on about free ports since the 70s.
Radical across the board. And as
Yeah, but these are new free ports. New.
As Chancellor, I helped completely destroy the economy.
Like Great Yarmouth, Norwich, King's Lynn.
Yeah, they need broadband in Great Yarmouth.
Yep, they do, Adam, they do.
Levelling up is for everyone, including right here in East Anglia.
Oh, is this the Fens? Are they in the Fens?
Wait a minute.
This is like Lovejoy country, isn't it?
I thought this was a head-to-head questioning session with Julia Hartley-Brewer. We are half an hour into this.
And it's just been the Rishi show.
Where the is Truss? Are we going to do this all over again for Truss? Like someone, oh, this is Truss's supporter. Here's Truss's video.
She said she was going to ask them questions. And there's two chairs there.
Where's Julia gone?
Well, they obviously get 20 minutes to sell themselves or something.
How can these two effectively sell themselves?
If he was a normal human being, he would have undone his top button as well. He doesn't even sweat.
Look,
oh my God, you put him in the same camp as Prince Andrew.
There's not an ounce of sweat on his face.
I'm sorry I was a little bit late for the hustings. I was just at Pizza Express in Woking.
Peter! Is there a Peter file here?
Oh, Christ.
Now, as your Prime Minister, I promise you that I will
No, you won't be, mate. You won't be my Prime Minister.
to tackling all of our challenges.
I've given up with politicians and government. I refuse to recognise it anymore.
Militant Mushroom says rodents don't sweat.
I don't think they do.
Britain
Or do they perspire through their tail?
If you're admiring my large pink and blue bottle, I stole it from my wife.
Where our economy is the most dynamic it has ever been, with our businesses investing.
That's dynamic.
To create jobs
Yeah.
across the
How can he believe this? He can't believe that shit, can he?
Perhaps more importantly,
They're all actors, aren't they, really? In the grand scheme of things, they're all actors.
That's why they said enjoy the show.
Yes,
Let's get on
they're
with the show.
Stage. They're on a stage, aren't they?
Conservative government.
Adam,
On with the show on the stage.
Adam,
Yes.
I'm struggling here.
Not just to be
Could you please send me Coca-Cola?
but also the next Prime Minister.
I've got a spare can here as well.
Oh, send it on over.
Oh, he's finished.
Oh, he has finished.
We're going to get trusted now.
Yeah, it's... Oh, Julia's back! Julia's back!
In pink. Look at that. Whoa! My eyes.
From Rishi Sunak, thank you very much.
Do you think she's just as bored as we are?
She's very awkward.
First of all, I just want to ask in this audience, we can see a lot of people with their T-shirts and holding up their placards. We know who they are going to vote for or have voted for. Can I have
Definitely built for comfort, not...
Sean, this is pure water. H2O water.
Hands up. So an awful lot of you. Who here has not yet cast their vote? Now. Very interesting reaction from everyone there as well. There's an awful lot of people. I would say the majority.
I would say the majority of the people in that audience are knocking on heaven's door, shall we say?
That's quite a few.
Yeah.
What might not be casting it.
Very much all to play for, despite what some of the polls have said. let's remember, those polls aren't always quite as trustworthy as people seem to think.
That's exactly
let's
right,
get on
Julia.
now. Let's
She's
hear
Neither
from
are
the
you.
Foreign
You're not
Secretary.
as trustworthy as people seem to think you are.
Let's hear.
no. Remember, she just did things to go on holiday, John.
Please welcome.
Why does this remind me? It reminds me of Pointless.
Oh,
Who's the
really?
most pointless leader to vote for?
Oh my God, Teresa Coffey's here.
What's this?
It's the Work and Pension Secretary. It's Coffey.
Fellow Conservatives, it is my great pleasure and privilege to introduce.
She's
my
taken a
friend,
break from,
Liz
you know,
Truss.
starring in Ghostbusters 4.
Well, we have been friends since we entered Parliament together. in
I've never
2017.
seen Ghostbusters before, and I don't think it's something I'm ever going to watch.
As the Marshmallow Man.
Is her intellect, her integrity, and her instinct.
Her eyes are funny as well, aren't
That
they?
is why I am backing Liz.
I rewatched that thing about the fish, and it
Yep.
quite clearly says in the right-hand corner, South China Morning Post.
Yeah, but TikTok have reinstated it.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, they granted the appeal. I sent you a screenshot.
Oh, I never saw it. Well, that's good then. Well, I mean, at least their own bloody people.
I had to re-upload it because I did delete it when they struck it. But they've granted the appeal. They said we reviewed your content and we've decided it doesn't break our community services. Thank you for being such a good uploader. Essentially.
Does that mean that someone reported it?
Yes.
Oh, the Chinese person.
For the last 8 years.
Not that I'm racist. I already had a whole tussle
John.
social media about Chinese people already yesterday.
Pipe down. We're listening to Teresa.
Really? Are we? Oh, sorry. I thought we were on to.
As Foreign Secretary,
Oh,
in standing up to Putin and his invasion of
Lol.
Ukraine.
And I just said the word lol. Do you really think?
And the
Oh,
Defence
those
Secretary.
Russians.
Even when this leadership contest started, Liz was doing her
How
duty
the hell has Liz
to the
Truss
other
made it
side
to
of
the
the
final
world
two?
to accelerate
How is she the
accession of
favourite?
Sweden and
She
Finland.
isn't. It's all pantomime, isn't it?
Their part
Well, of course.
in making sure
Rishi Sunak
we stand up for Ukraine.
just can't win.
That shows
He will. He's been lined up for leader for many years, hasn't he?
Oh, no, he can't. He's shot his bolt because the problem is he's not electable.
And Liz is a
Neither
serious
of them are
person
electable.
who will
Well-
stand up for what is right, whether that is Ukraine.
I would
Great
venture to say
or United Kingdom.
that Truss is more electable
Child of
than.
the Union, she stood up in terms
Sean
of
says
keeping
because
the
they're both
integrity of the Union
WEF.
to fully
And I will
include
say this actually.
Oh,
Julia posted on Twitter today. Is there any questions you'd like me to ask the candidates? And 9 questions out of every 10 were all about the WEF, were about Klaus Schwab.
which is to keep both growth
Oh,
and
I didn't see any point in asking that because you're never going to ask them.
Well, no, but so many people asked her to ask that you
I
wonder.
think there was one guy put up quite a sensible question.
What did you ask?
With the
No, what
outbreak
was
of COVID,
Somebody else
ongoing
on Twitter.
energy challenge created by Putin, we now
But
face
he
a
asked
clear choice
if she was going to bring up the if they were going to stop the profiteering by the energy companies and impose a price cap for both personal and small businesses.
They need
Because
to
at the
do that.
moment, there's no cap on small businesses at all.
Yeah, but John, me and you here at Chasing Dissent have been calling for that since February, and they've done nothing, right?
Yeah,
And,
we've called for a lot of things since. And to be fair, we've called for a lot of things since March 2020.
we have, yeah.
I'm not about that yet. Well, YouTube
Hold
have
on.
removed it from their community guidelines.
Is it time for her video?
They've wheeled her off.
Oh God!
Can unleash the potential of all the people.
I want to arm Taiwan, starting World War III.
To win the next election, we need
He looks like a sock puppet.
for the British people. I know that our country's best days lie ahead.
She does. She's got a speech impediment, hasn't she?
Where is she from?
She's on the verge of a speech impediment.
I know that today we're going to go and we're going to win this leadership election. It's me, Liz Truss.
I will continue to deliver on the
It's just that she's very nasally. So I know, me, Liz Truss.
We're all blocked up. Can't really communicate properly.
And the inspirational music playing behind both of their videos. It's like, oh, patriotism.
It's like someone gave her face an iron though. Where's all her wrinkles gone?
Sean Fennessy says, do we have a wager? Well, she's the favourite, isn't she?
A wager.
Elijah.
And I'm the person.
So we have
Who the hell does she remind me of? Who is it?
Widow Twanky.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm trying not to swear. Right, here she comes, here she comes. Oh, she's wearing the Tory blue.
You get a little bit, you get more jewels than
Fantastic to be here in Czech's Notes, Norwich.
But there is nothing better than being back here in my adopted
Drink the red drink.
Gee.
Hold on, let's listen to what she has to say, shall we? Chucky's bride, that's good, yeah. Tiffany.
We're a county of entrepreneurs, of pioneers, of mold.
She has got no charisma at all, has she?
Just doubting.
Jesus.
She's a Tory.
Sunak's got nothing either. To be
No.
Yeah, but Sunak's got spades over her.
And that's saying something.
I mean, come on.
Like, if I just can't get Ratatouille out of my head when Sunak's on. Every time he stands there, Ratatouille is playing in my head.
What, so you're hearing do 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 do
and I'm seeing Ratatouille talking to me. It's like he just doesn't exist.
I saw some children being let
DW says, you know all is lost when they do the hands.
Oh, right. How many times? See, it's a pity I don't have alcohol because we could have played a drinking game here. How many times is she going to hold the imaginary tea tray? Or has somebody pointed it out to her?
Is that a coat or is it a dressing gown?
It's a wraparound.
It's a wraparound, yeah.
Like it's the wrong.
I wanted a Britain where everybody had opportunities regardless of their
We had that, and then you crashed the economy.
I want us to be.
Well, yeah, Rishi had a large part in doing that.
They all did it.
I love watching their hand movements and the things they do. They do these
See,
authentic.
She's got the tea tray going there.
There she got the tray, yeah.
War in Ukraine perpetrated by Putin.
Press the button. Press the button.
What? Putin!
Every time they say Putin tonight, you press that button.
We've had
Yeah.
2 decades of relatively low growth here in Britain. So now is not the time for business as usual. Now is the time to do different and to be different.
Well, businesses can't operate because you're absolutely crippling them.
To grow our economy. First of all, we need to get all of those EU laws off our statute books by the end of 2023. We need to take.
We need them off our statute books next week.
Yeah, we need them off by the end of 2022.
Rishi's pledging to do that within his first 30 days.
Agri-tech, whether it's into financial services, technology, energy, right across the east of England. Next, we need to cut taxes.
The big tray.
We shouldn't have put up national insurance.
The fish was this size. It fought like a motherfucker.
She's just so dull, isn't she?
Yeah.
She has got nothing. At least Rishi has a tiny modicum.
A moratorium on the green energy levy. Levy? Who's writing these?
Keep corporation tax low.
You call it?
If we raise corporation tax to the same level as France and 10 points higher than Ireland, we're not going to attract the investment.
No, we're not.
Going to attract the jobs. We're not
That's
going
true.
to get the growth that we need
That's
in
true.
this country. Fundamentally,
You know what? We will give credit when credit's due. When they say things that are true, we will admit it. Oh, look, Adam's also typing in the chat. Man of many talents.
I'm there.
You're there?
people who go out to work every day.
Well, she's so dull.
That's why
Oh, they both are.
I'd like the opportunity to go to work every day.
unions, disrupting our railways, and make sure they are providing essential services.
What American trade union? She's modelling herself on Maggie, isn't she?
Yep. She's been modelling herself on Maggie the entire time.
I'm the new Maggie.
And I know, looking around this audience, there are many councillors I know.
Council, I know.
Councillor I sat on the planning committee. And those that
Do you remember
outside my life
Terrahawk?
will never get back. Because you all know.
Remember
that you sit there on a
Terrahawks?
committee
Yes, yeah. Zelda.
to make decisions
She's a bit like Zelda
by the
She is.
inspectorate in Bristol. You get
in the
to
way
work
that she
with
speaks,
by
not
the people.
directly comparable in
I would
appearance.
immediately
close, but not directly comparable. But definitely in our mannerisms and
I
speech.
would level up in a conservative way by setting up low tax investment zones where local communities want them, driving business growth and investment. And I'll also take on the Treasury orthodoxy.
Do you think she'll be told off for wearing that red watch?
Investment goes into areas that already have the investment.
God.
Now, we all know it's very hard to get a mobile phone signal near here. It's hard to get your broadband fixed. And we've been waiting far too long to have the
Even harder to get an ambulance.
And I will
Yes, Dark Spy, you've missed JHB. She was in bright pink.
Yeah.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
She will be back, yeah.
We are one of the most productive agricultural areas.
Vaughan says Maggie was much sexier.
Yes, I know. One's sick. That's what I said. One is a sick man.
Sean says she will do exactly as she's ordered to by her puppet
That
masters.
is what I would do.
I mean, don't they have to kind of fulfill their manifesto, really? The thing that they were elected upon. So they're quite cowed.
Why?
Are they not?
Why should they be the first to fulfill a manifesto? Nobody's ever done it before them.
That's true.
Because we were the first European country to send weapons to Ukraine. And we of any country in the world. But we need to do more. I'm proud
There's a
that we across North
Masonic hand symbol there.
Yep.
Signalling to all the Masons in the audience.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm a woman, so I can't be a member of the order, but I'm with you.
And that is why I would increase our defence spending to 3% of GDP by the end of this decade.
That's actually quite a bit of money.
I'll also tackle the small boats in the English Channel.
Personally?
Going out with a pitchfork.
Sea mines! I mean, what?
Hold on.
We need to make it work and we need to expand it to more countries. And I would legislate to make sure that we cannot be overruled by the ECHR. We should make decisions about our own borders.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
That's true.
But as well as fighting for freedom and democracy around the world, I think we need a bit more of it here at home.
Whoa. Why should we be fighting for freedom and democracy around the world?
That I'm somebody who's prepared to take
Charity starts at home.
identity politics of the left.
Ooh.
And I'm prepared to be honest and say what's true. I'm a plain-speaking Yorkshire woman.
Oh, I thought she was going to say she was.
She's from Yorkshire.
Ooh.
Oh, she had saying a woman is a woman. Controversial.
I mean, basic biological fact is now controversy.
Ben and Adam, she's made a terribly controversial statement there. What do you think this is going to do for her?
Doomed.
Who say we should be ashamed of our past, that we aren't the country we were, that we're somehow in decline. Those people.
I mean, those things are true.
I see as foreign secretary.
That's true.
That people love the United Kingdom. They love what we stand for.
Vaughan says, "I bet the ECHR will overrule her, overruling the ECHR."
As others see us.
Yep, hand signal.
Oh, yep, signalling again.
In 2019, we won a huge majority. We won seats across the
Boris
country,
won a huge
including
majority.
seats here like Peterborough, like Ipswich.
The only reason they won any kind of majority is because of him. People were voting for him.
Yeah.
It's not because they wanted the Liberal Democrats.
It's because they wanted Boris Johnson. They didn't care about your policies. They didn't care about Tories as a whole. They cared about Boris.
They were taken in by the blunderbuss.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who's shown I can deliver.
They are going to lose this majority massively, especially with one of these two as Prime Minister.
And I have pushed things through Whitehall. Whether it's the dozens of trade deals people said we couldn't do, whether it's the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill.
Oh, God.
It's like they just don't care anymore, isn't it?
Northern Ireland's just stalled.
Do what it takes to make things happen. And that's what people in Britain need. Because when we show that we are positive about our country, when we show we're
giggling about.
Would you like some hobnobs?
Support us at the next election, and not yet another North London Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, who doesn't understand aspiration. He doesn't understand what people
Keith just got a name drop.
Kirsten Armour.
do as Prime Minister. Is I would deliver
I love these words.
across our country. I'd make sure it happens.
Is it? I think they've outsourced it.
I think it's Jeremy Corbyn doing the typing, isn't it?
Oh no, there's something in India. It's been outsourced.
Kirsten Armour.
Look at all these. Look at these 4 Liz for Leader people.
Oh yes.
Oh, people are standing up. She's getting a standing ovation at the.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Did you see that there? Norman over there just put his hip out.
Is back.
Spencer, there she is.
Blancmange. Built for comfort.
Right, hold on. It's question time, ladies and gentlemen. Question time.
I will hand over to you, the audience here in Norwich, to put their poses to the contestants.
What is the point of Julia even being here?
To ask my question. So please
Get off the white tee.
Get some proper answers to some tough questions. Some of those are suggested from some of my Talk TV audience as well. So I've very much been looking
He's not
forward.
too white.
Please welcome back Rishi Sunak.
What's happening now?
I thought there was 2 chairs for them to just sit in.
Oh no, she's going to sit. She's going to sit.
Right then.
It's the drinking game time.
Hold on.
12 minutes.
Here we go.
To the audience,
12
so
minutes.
let's get straight to it. Tomorrow, Ofgem, they're going to confirm the energy price cap for an average home from October. It's going to rise to £3,550.
That's ridiculous.
That's
It
ridiculous.
could be £6,000 a year. It's not just low earners who won't be able to afford to pay that. It's going to be millions of those hard-working families we hear that politicians care so much about and want their votes. The help that you and both Liz Truss as well have actually publicly promised so far isn't going to be enough. Isn't it time that you squared with Tory party members,
Yes.
and also the British public, that what you're offering publicly is far less than what you're actually really going to have to do, and tell them how much it's going to cost?
Well, Julia, without doubt, that's the most pressing challenge facing the country. It's something I've been talking about for a while.
You created it.
In particular, and millions of families are going to have a very tough time this autumn and winter. And I don't think anyone can say that what I've said is not enough, because I haven't put a precise amount on it. Because it's hard to do that until A, we know what the numbers are, and B,
really?
But what I have set out is a very clear framework for how I'm going to help people and who's going to get the most help. Now, I think we're all grown-ups here. We all know that in a situation like this, there's no government, there's no prime minister who could sit here and say, "Yep, we can make all of this go away," as if it's not going to feel anything. No one's going to.
I mean, you could legislate against the price rises.
That's possible.
That's what you do. It's easy.
And pretending otherwise.
It's easy.
Straight with everyone. But what we can do is target our help on the people who need it most in a circumstance like that. So what I've said is the following. I've announced a lot of support as Chancellor, which is significant and was acknowledged as being so. And I've said very clearly that I'll go further as Prime Minister. And there's 3...
It's not just going to be the very poorest who
So
need help.
I'm just going to explain what we're doing, and then people can decide what they would do differently.
Oh, that's you put in your place, Julia. He's just going to explain.
He's mansplaining, if you will.
Yeah.
To provide further additional support to everybody universally, so that will amount to several £100s.
I don't like men that sit like that.
But for 2 other groups of people, I think we should and must go further.
How can you do? I can't do it. My legs don't work that way.
And for pensioners, people on
You can read it.
which is similarly another third of all.
Yeah, those captions are
Those
shite.
groups of people are particularly vulnerable. They don't have the
And they
means
can't
to
see them.
fall back
The audience
on
can't
to
see them.
deal with it. And if we don't do something specific for those people, there's a high risk that millions of people will fall into destitution. Now, my plan is to provide direct financial support to those groups of people.
Notice he has a red watch as well.
Those amounts of
Means he's drinking the red one.
receive that cash in the autumn and the winter. And that's the right thing to do.
Labour.
And
He's a Labour
there's a big
plant.
point of difference on this between Liz and I, because her approach is tax cuts, and they don't help those people, right? If you're someone working in cabinet, that's probably worth about £1,700.
VAT cut's not going to help either.
Nope.
On a reasonably low wage, it's worth about £1 a week. And if you're a pensioner who's not working, it's worth precisely 0. So I think you do need to have direct support for those people.
Time Time is very tight. What help are you going to give to businesses? Because businesses don't get
Yes.
the advantage of the price cap. We're looking at some hospitality businesses and others facing a 300% increase in their energy costs already. That's before.
He'll give him another loan, like he did over COVID.
Because when they start going under and closing up shop, we're going to be in a much more difficult situation employment-wise.
That's clearly something that the new Prime Minister will have to look at. And I have to look at it, and I'm happy to do so and would do so. Well, I think you talk about the hospitality industry. I think one thing I'm pretty confident on is that people can judge me by my record, and it was the hospitality industry that suffered almost the most out of any sector during COVID. And I think most people in the hospitality industry would acknowledge that.
Been judged and found wanting.
Recognise the value that they play in our communities and employing.
I don't think these people have any idea what they're talking about.
Important part of our communities, and I've got a very strong
Doesn't have a clue. Doesn't have a clue.
I don't
you
think
get taken to a pub where a guy who's a plant is told to talk to him and not make any waves, and they have a photo shop, and then they all fuck off again. And he goes,
He's taking the green drink.
Took the green one.
No, I think that. I don't.
Oh, you should.
That's right. And if you look at one of the cheapest forms of energy that we are now using, it's renewable energy, right?
No, it's nuclear.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
We don't have gas storage, and we need to invest in it. But
Whose decision was that?
That's because we took all the gas storage away.
But we do need more gas storage. But look, I think these two things are
Nice housing estates now, aren't they?
You can't make that shit up. I mean, we had gasometers up till like 10 years ago, and then they took them all away.
We had them here.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
But we need to do it in a positive
Because
way.
we used to store gas.
Along with us, and that means innovation, right? In a word, like I talked about the economy that I want to build. I want to build an economy that's built on innovation, because the way we're going to do it.
Because you've taken one down, so you might as well try building one now.
I bet he knows a good company that could help as well if you want to innovate.
I bet his wife does.
I bet his wife does, yeah.
We're developing right here in the UK, and as you said, new forms of energy storage. There's lots of things that we can do that will help us get to net zero, and
Hamster wheels.
and create jobs in the UK.
You could use hamster wheels as energy storage.
You just stick them in prisons.
For us to abandon net zero,
And for every kilowatt they generate, it's an hour off the sentence.
Net zero's a race to the bottom. It's stupidity on a major global scale.
Absolutely.
We saw a 9-year-old girl shot dead in her own home amid drug gang wars. We also saw 1,300 illegal migrants arriving in dinghies from France in just one day. Indeed, on
The WEF, Julia. They all asked you to ask about the WEF. Are you going to do it?
Being a party of law and order.
Yeah, I mean, the story about Olivia, her name was, is shocking, and I was asked about it the other day. I mean, my daughter is the same age, and
Yeah, it's not about you.
Well, that wasn't a planned question at all, because he managed to remember her name.
Her name was... It's Olivia Sunak.
But you're right, we need to put more police officers on the street. We're in the process of doing that.
How's that going to help? All they do is dance, like nurses.
Keep us safe. One thing that concerns me, as I've been campaigning around the country, is it's clear that there are elements in our police forces that are held back from doing the things that I think they want to do that would actually keep us safe.
Yeah, because they're policing
because of an
tweets.
ideology, right? We talked about this wokish ideology, and
Yep, that.
stop and search is a good example of a technique that works, that police forces are not always using for reasons that are not right. And all
So
it does.
Does he want to do more stop and search or less stop and
Oh,
search?
he wants to do. I think he wants to do more.
I've been.
But it does work.
When
The
I was.
problem is when you analyse the statistics, it's mainly people that aren't white that commit the crimes, so they tend to get stop and searched more. And then it all goes, oh, you're stopping too many people.
Spectator magazine today, you've revealed how the scientists advising the government on COVID were
Did you say a fetish magazine?
There was no attempt to assess the likely damage that would be caused by lockdowns to health, education, the economy. Rather obviously, you said it was wrong for the government to scare people with their campaigns. You say you fought a lone battle behind the scenes against many of those measures, but why didn't you speak out publicly? Why didn't you expose what was going on? And if you felt why didn't you resign?
Because that wouldn't have been the responsible thing to do in the midst of...
Yes, it would have.
Speaking out would have been. See, she fucking fluffed it, didn't she? She did it again. She gave him an out.
Push back, Julia. Push back.
I'm not gonna. She's useless.
This is not to second guess the decisions we made at the time.
So he's answering the "why didn't you resign" question.
Everyone was doing their absolute best at the time.
No, they weren't.
To do what they thought was right for the country. These were impossible decisions. But what I was
You didn't.
Was, having now been through it and had the
Sneaky little obnoxious bastard.
He's a weasel, isn't he?
Yeah. I wanted to stay in my position with my nice cushy salary, and therefore, because I needed my swimming pool, you see.
Oh, I was building a swimming pool. My wife was getting a lot of kickbacks.
Right now, we're having a debate in this leadership.
Right, she took on a fantastic loan and then went bankrupt.
Inflation, taxes, borrowing, and spending. I think there are trade-offs, right? I think you can't have everything, right? You can't borrow lots of money, deliver lots of tax cuts. Inflation will all be fine, nothing will happen to interest rates, and we can help people with the cost of living. I just think if something is, sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I think it's right for leaders to acknowledge trade-offs.
Like furlough.
That's what I was saying in that interview, that we should acknowledge the trade-offs that lockdown had, particularly with regard to our kids' education.
And all the small businesses, as our John here is a small business owner who was absolutely devastated by what they did.
And they're still fucking chasing us for money. For rent, for our premises that were closed for 18 months.
Yeah, they're demanding rent off him, yet they forced him not to trade.
Amen to that. The NHS
oh, she didn't push back.
Of course she didn't. I mean, it was scripted. He knew what was coming and he answered one question and not the other. Why didn't you speak out? He never even breached it. Useless interviewer.
I know. This is why they'll never come on our show, John.
Yeah, where's Paxman when you need him?
Well, yeah.
This is the time you need someone like a Paxman.
So, I should be in her chair. I should be asking me. I'd be going, oi, you arsehole. Why didn't you speak out?
And you look way better in pink.
I do. And you know what? I'd have even shaved off the handlebars. I'd have shaved off the handlebars.
Oh, you don't need to go that far.
They need to wheel in that woman that disrupted Steve Barclay's press media release.
Yeah.
Steve Barclay was up earlier on.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what he was saying.
I don't care what he was saying.
Speaking in Yorkshire, I think. I have no idea what he was saying. Or maybe Norwich or whatever it is. He was speaking in some kind of strange dialect. You know that dialect in England changes every 10 miles or something?
About, and last year, do you know what? 15 million missed appointments in the NHS. 15 million in
last year.
Yeah, you've got to get an appointment first.
Last year. And that was because doctors wouldn't turn up. You plonker. All right for him. He just goes private.
Yep.
I just go private.
I just use my Bupa doctor.
Yes, I'm not going to possibly think about going on the NHS. God, no.
The backlog's down quicker with no more tax pay.
I'm jumping in because time is tight.
Are they his parents?
But I want to ask some quick fire questions. Very short answers.
I'm just saying, because they were zooming right in on them.
Good question. But is it politically correct?
Don't care. They're zooming in on him. He's going, I'm from here. My mum, and he was pointing, and my dad. So I'm assuming, oh, this is so proud, so proud.
You've made a good point there, Ben, because did they place those people at the front of the audience to indicate, his diversity?
President Macron, friend or foe?
Friend.
No, foe.
Dancing the Macarena or investigating crimes?
I mean, clearly fighting crime.
Mask mandates or no mask mandates? No. Yes or no? Is a trans woman a woman?
No.
Oh!
Bias or Labour bias or studiously neutral?
That was an answer.
No, look.
One word answer.
No. Look, the BBC is a proud British institution.
No, it's not.
It's easy to bash the BBC, and that clearly, if I did that, everyone would clap. And that
Easy to bash it because it's rubbish.
I actually think the BBC is a proud. The BBC is something that everyone in this country is actually proud of, but it's right that
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Of everyone in this country, and
So-
that is
so
what
Labour
that is what
bias
is
then.
not done. It's not about Labour or Conservative.
Right,
It's
we'll have
about
to move on.
reflecting the values. It maybe actually it's rural communities or urban communities. Quite
Who
frankly.
would you rather be stuck in a lift with, Keir Starmer or Nicola Sturgeon?
Oh, bloody hell.
Keith.
Gosh.
Keith.
Crikey.
I'll have to hurry you.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna take the stairs. Yeah.
Good answer.
You wouldn't take the stairs if you're stuck in a
Not
lift.
you. Who would make a better Prime Minister, Boris Johnson or Liz Truss?
Oh gosh, I mean, Liz Truss. We're here in her hometown, and regardless of that or home area, look, we've got to move forward as a party, right? And I know that actually, this is lots of you here. I'm sure upset with me for resigning. You wish Boris was here. That is not going to help us move forward, right? It is simply not.
Oh, it's like, suck it up and vote for me because you're fucking not getting them back, bitches. Not like in America where Trump's coming back, isn't he?
They're getting him back, yeah.
Right, that's the end of my set of questions. Now it's turned for you here.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
How long is this going on for?
Microphones, please. Microphones there at the back.
It's got to be at least another hour.
First of all, and then get a microphone over to
Boys, I may have to go get an alcoholic drink.
I need to go to the toilet.
I'll hold the show. Don't worry.
No, I'll stay for a minute.
Hi there, I'm
I'll stay.
Anthony. I'm a head teacher
Hi,
at
Anthony.
school here in Norwich. I want to ask you, without platitudes or without sound bites, to give me 1, 2, 3 things that you could do to make the lives of particularly disadvantaged students better in this country.
Yeah. So I'll give you 3 things I want to do because I think education is the most important way
Soundbite.
to transform people's lives. I mentioned that in my
Soundbite.
speech, I genuinely believe it. It's the conservative way to spread opportunity.
Platitude, soundbite.
It's the thing that I will be proud to spend most of my time focusing
That's what
on.
Tony Blair used to say, isn't it? Education, education, education.
First is I want to look
And
at
then he
curriculum
became a war
in
criminal.
our schools, particularly what we allow kids to study at 18. We are pretty much the only advanced economy in the world that lets our children give up maths and English at 16. I don't think that is probably right, and I think we're not preparing them for the jobs of the future by doing that, particularly disadvantaged kids. So I want to
Try teaching it properly then.
at that level. Second thing is apprenticeships, because there are lots of good routes into fantastic careers. these days.
Apprenticeships, modern slavery as it's also called.
And we need to increase both the breadth and quality of apprenticeships and make them available. And
We'll make you
the
work
last-
many,
the
many
last
hours a
one,
week and
which
not
I
pay you a
do
living
think
wage.
about, But it's for us to stop thinking about education as something that finishes at 18 or 21. Because now, in a modern economy, in your 30s, 40s, 50s or 60s, people are going to want to train, pick up a new skill, get a new qualification. To get
By
a better
want to,
job
you
to
mean
start
they're going to be forced to because all of your destruction of the economy has closed their business or their industry. Am I right?
You are right.
I'm right. They don't want to train. They don't want to learn something new. You've screwed them over, and now they're going to be forced to.
When
Hi,
he says
Steve.
something new, it probably means fruit picking.
Restore trust and finally control our borders.
Right, two questions, but they're 2 important ones. Yeah. So look, controlling borders, as I said, is really important, right?
How?
For those of you interested, I've got a 10-point plan on my website.
I've got a 1-point plan, C-mind. What?
A couple of things from it in the interest of time. The first is we've got to move away from the European definition of asylum.
Do you remember the game Minesweeper?
Yes,
We
yeah.
just create a real-life version of that in the English channel.
Different international legal standards we can use, and I would quickly move us to those, and that will make a big difference.
Or just do what they do in Somerset, put a diversion in. So you just got diverted. All the roads are closed around here, so just divert them.
Insist that they take back their failed asylum seekers. Now that's clearly wrong, right? And we need to be tougher about linking those things, because if we don't do whatever it takes to fix this problem, that I will, it's costing all of us, right?
Is it?
£5 million a day.
Yes, it is.
All of you.
More than that, by the way.
A day in hotel costs for housing all these.
That's, like I say, that's just hotel
That's a lot.
costs.
To get control of our borders for security, to restore trust, we also need to do it so that we can start cutting taxes and spend money on the things that we want to. My plan is online.
Because guess what? If we put that £5 million a day towards the energy crisis, then perhaps we could.
Which is important, right? Yeah, no, but because you're right. Very, very briefly, look, I think standards matter. And that's why I would actually very quickly, as Prime Minister, reappoint an independent advisor on ministerial ethics, because I think it sends a very strong signal, and that person should have the powers and resources to hold people to account. But I also say this, if we're going to appeal to these swing voters that we need to everywhere...
You're not.
They're not ideological, these people.
They voted for Boris Johnson. They did not vote for the Tories.
Works properly above anything else, and I will run a government that is conducted competently, that is conducted seriously, and with decency and integrity at the heart of everything it does. That is the change I'm going to bring. That's the Prime Minister I'm going to be, and that's how we're going to restore trust and win the next election.
Okay, thank you.
You won't win.
Can I ask a favour? When you put your hand up, can you keep your hand up so I can direct a microphone to you? Otherwise, it's impossible. Would you mind waiting? This gentleman just over here with his hand up over here with the microphone, I think. Oh, someone over there with the microphone anyway. Ah, there you are.
Rishi, we rely on our armed forces in every crisis. Over decades now, they've been cut to the bone.
They have.
It's too late.
You can attest to that personally.
They can't afford food at the moment.
No. And I mean, our Adam here, he works with our armed forces, not for them, with them. And you've painted a quite horrifying picture of what life is like for them.
Yeah, it is terrible.
Since the end of the Cold War, right? That's my record.
You've not missed a lot,
We did it
sore
in
arm.
the pandemic, in fact, because the threats to our country were increasing, as you highlighted. And we
JHB's rather magenta outfit is quite impressive. That was worth tuning in for.
Yeah, I mean, our Spencer there, he's just sitting there. He's in a JHB coma. Every time she comes on screen, he's just like, there she is, my goddess.
Do you think when the Tory party announced candidates for this election that they just picked who was duller than Rishi Sunak?
Well, yeah.
And they thought the only way we'll get Rishi to win is if we choose somebody that is duller and from up north who doesn't stand a chance.
Spencer just asked if we actually had a camera in his room or something.
We do.
Of course I do, and my record demonstrates that.
Look.
It's just I don't believe in arbitrary targets when it comes to something as serious as the security of our realm. So the commitment I would make to you is that I will invest whatever it takes to make sure that we keep you, your families, and our country safe. Because that is the first duty of a Prime Minister.
Whatever it takes for the greater good.
They are investing 250 million in ration packs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, 250 billion, isn't it?
Is it billion? Wow.
Provision for trauma-informed and attachment-based interventions. It's not enough to just work with education, because there are still so many children not accessing full-time education. What are you going to do with the social care?
She's wearing a Ready for Rishi shirt, so she already likes his answer.
To start, so they can actually access education.
That guy just to the bottom left of it looks a bit terroristy, doesn't he?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Did you notice his ginger beard?
Yeah, you just can't trust them, can you?
No.
When they hear social care and our social care system is under pressure, and they hear that from our councillors as well.
I'm assuming that John's disappeared. He's got himself out of this, hasn't he?
He's gone for a workout.
No, someone in the gym, he was almost late to the show, someone in the gym broke their arm.
Oh no.
Oh, he's back.
It's to also support you in the work that you do, because the pressures that our councils are under are significant. And I think all of us want...
If you're watching on YouTube, please like the stream and give it a share.
With the same opportunities as much as possible that all the rest of us enjoyed.
Getting another chance to talk.
Yeah, he's answering questions now.
He's answering questions from the public.
And are they any good?
Not really.
Sound bites.
Sound bites, yeah.
Also why, in a completely different way, when I was local government minister, I prioritised something called changing places toilets. Right? And these
I did them.
For whom a typical disabled toilet is not sufficient.
I did this.
Yeah, but I would actually... You know what? I'll actually give him that one. Changing places toilets are actually really good. And as a disabled man, I do appreciate the extra support that those sorts of things give us when we're out on a day out and stuff, right? I appreciate that.
Get us quite a keyboard if you're going to come on, or mute your mic.
Sorry. I'm just responding to Sore Arm in the chat there.
he asked, what is the point of this? Does anyone actually watch this crap? We watch it so we can mock it, so that you can laugh at us laughing at it.
Jane, Rishi. I'm very heartened to hear what both of you have had to say about
Hello, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Is she like a relative? Her name's Jane Rishi.
She did say, my name's Jane Rishi.
Oh. Good relative. Another plant.
They're all bloody plants, aren't they?
You talking about fish?
Talking about fish.
John Craven just in front of her.
Any testing? Any testing of the fish?
Is to acknowledge that some of our fishing communities do feel a bit.
Oh, look, who's that peeping out from around the side there?
She looks evil, doesn't she?
She does. She's with the ginger man.
Yeah.
And I sympathise
That's a
with it. So look, what I say to them is, look, the job is not done.
Sauron says,
we're going to come and renegotiate.
will Julia Hartley-Brewer stand next to Rishi so we can see how tiny the manlet is?
And without getting into all the
Whoa, no, she kind of backed away from him, didn't she? In a differential manner.
Yes.
Specific things that we need to try and correct. Because some of the quotes that we've got at the moment.
You can tell he's becoming more comfortable now because he's getting animated and he's moving about.
I'm having a good time with this. Yeah, and when I'm done with this, I'm going to fly in my private helicopter back to my leisure centre and play in my £1 million pool.
People are asking nice and lots of nice and easy answered questions.
We had Consuela clean the pool today, and that meant emptying it. Despite the fact there's a hosepipe ban, it doesn't apply to me.
Sorry? Well, look, there's actually lots of things, as you say, about fishing use. Also together, making sure that we balance the needs of things like renewable energy offshore with fishing.
Oh, shut up.
He loves his renewable energy, doesn't he?
Shut up, you tosser.
Shut up, you tart!
No, excuse me, I'll decide who are. No, sit down. Sit down, sir.
Excuse me.
She's tough with him, but she's not tough with Rishi.
Gentleman over here, please.
Good evening, Rishi. My name is Philip.
As she looked back, sit down! I bet Spencer was just wishing that was him. Julia's telling me to sit down?
Sauron's right. Julia is massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's up to his shoulder and she's sitting down.
Explain my approach to this. What I've said is what I want to do.
If Rishi loses, which he will, right? If Rishi loses, we could have him. We could have him on the show as our dwarf.
No, have you put that video out yet?
No, not yet.
No. You can't tell him our secret plan just yet.
That means no inappropriate development on Greenbelt, but ultimately.
But yes, he is a good candidate.
They should be the ones in the driving seat.
He would make a good bobblehead, wouldn't he?
About housing supply.
Yeah.
Most people here will have.
He has a bobblehead. Look.
Our first flat, our first home, and how magical that felt.
You could fit him on your dashboard.
That conservative dream we need.
I'm sure he could.
Little Rishi toys, and you press the button on it, and it goes 2 weeks to flatten the economy.
I bet he was an obnoxious little bastard as a child.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
can just imagine that he'd be such a fucking entitled dog.
It's okay. His nanny had to deal with it all.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the other kids. Rishi.
Very high quality.
You're
It is
a knob.
faster and it is cheaper. And thanks to that man, we are doing more of it. But if this is very important. The last thing I'd say is also I want to look at the mortgage market.
Think about it.
Many of you will, in this situation, will have kids and grandkids who are paying a lot in rent right now, right? And they're paying it very, very reliably. And in fact, they could afford a mortgage, right? They could afford a mortgage, and it may be that the mortgage payment is less than their rent payment. If they could get one,
he's trying to trick us. He's trying to trick us because the mortgage payments are going to go sky high, and the arse is going to fall out the housing market.
Because if it works, we can help young people.
Oh, he's going to sucker loads of people into buying houses.
Yep.
And they're going to get
yep.
right up Mickey, no lube.
It's 2008 all over again.
Yeah, it is. I remember when mortgage rates reached 16%.
I don't know anyone that's just got a big mortgage.
You know that they're offering,
Hi, Adam.
They're offering 50 for mortgage.
Are you okay, Adam?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Your mortgage is fucking massive.
I tell you, inflation's going to bite, and your mortgage will be about 13 or 14% by this time.
We can deliver faster, cheaper housing in an incredibly beautiful way. He will show you.
I've got a plan, John.
That guy tried it.
I've got a council house.
The guy, no, but but it takes a while to get that. But the guy with the canoe tried it and eventually got found, didn't he, in Panama?
Let's take a question from a young man.
Oh, young man over here.
My name's Tom. I'm a member in Norwich South. I've got 2 young children. My question is...
You remember?
Given that 20,000 additional officers will only take police numbers back up to where they were in 2010, what else will you do as Prime Minister to get a...
I'll make sure that they stop policing tweets and get out on the street.
...feel is totally out of control?
Kind of sound like a KVAT.
I was saying before, and that's
Let's Truss there. Rishi.
Give them the tools they need to actually combat crime. And that's not happening everywhere, right? I think
I'll give them a gun. I'll give them a stick. I'll give them a taser.
Police and crime commissioners. But when I talk to police officers,
why do we even have police and crime commissioners?
making sure that they're freed up and not having to deal with a lot of bureaucracy.
Aren't they usually the ones that get caught speeding?
Should I run for police and crime commissioner?
Focus their time on fighting crime, and then
You should.
Yeah, go for
these pervasive ideologies.
Ladies and gentlemen watching this, if you would like to help finance my run for police and crime commissioner in Sussex, I will do it. I will do it.
Such a grifter.
I'm not paying for it.
You get expenses when you're a police and crime commissioner anyway. So,
yeah, but you have to pay to run, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Tackling crime is going to work unless we go after these people. And the average number of convictions these career criminals have is 19, right? Now, look, we're a compassionate party. We believe in giving...
Three-strike rule, then.
Maybe even
Three-strike rule?
But certainly not a 19th chance, right? So we need to look at sentencing for those people, because that will really help.
Okay. Right. Final question, I'm afraid, from a lady over here, who I believe has got the microphone.
Hello,
Lady in pink.
My question is around green environmental issues.
Oh.
Obviously, that's becoming a big
Hold on,
issue
hun.
now. It is turning into a crisis.
No,
is a
it's
crisis for
not!
the young generation.
Oh.
You've not
Jesus!
really hugely touched on it. You've mentioned about the sea.
Crisis,
and having
stupidity.
wind power there. But what are you going to do? Are you going to hit big businesses?
Do you know what I'd say? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you...
There's only so much we can do.
She looks a stereotypical... She looks exactly how I imagine she would look.
I want to save the planet.
And had been Chancellor for 2 and a bit years. The only thing they care about asking me is, Daddy, what are you doing for the environment? And that's why I was saying we've got to be...
Yeah, sure they do. Hold on a minute.
Is that the British Gettr? Asks Spencer.
Right? Whether it's big business or indeed families.
Greta's too old now.
We can't make this about making life...
Greta's starring in a porn movie next week. Next year.
How dare you?
Give up all these things that you love.
How dare you?
And technology to solve these problems. British researchers, scientists, companies are going to help us solve this problem, and that's why we need to build it.
There isn't a problem.
Basically, what he's saying is they're going to invest in electric car manufacturing. That's all he's going to do.
This is ridiculous. Oh, this whole electric car thing is such a white elephant.
Are we all going to get a Tesla, Rishi?
Right, yeah.
Look on.
Big thank you.
You're either going to get a Tesla or you're going to ride a unicorn to work.
Big thank you.
They don't go against each other anymore, do they? Because they ended up fighting, don't they?
So we're about to do this all over again, but with Liz Truss. Liz Truss.
They're taking questions from. So we're trying to keep those to a minimum. I want to hear from people who are undecided, not who've bought a T-shirt already for the person they're voting for. So hope you'll understand that. I get to ask some questions right now of the...
No, I don't use Telegram.
Alternative. Many of you, as we've discovered earlier, still haven't made up your minds yet and still haven't cast your votes. So please, welcome back to the stage, Liz Truss.
Welcome back, the warmonger, ladies and gentlemen.
Way.
Round of applause for the warmonger.
These are way too white. They're ridiculously white.
Oh, there's a bit of a colour clash there.
Right, okay, so it's my chance to ask questions of you.
Let's hear what Julia asks. Are you going to mention the WEF, Julia?
No.
They're both like 2 mounds of brightly coloured Play-Doh, aren't they?
They really are.
From October. £3,550 a year their annual bill will be. Next summer could be more than £6,000. And it's not just the very poor. You've talked about targeting help for the very poor, minimum wage and people on benefits. They're not the only people who won't be able to afford those bills. There'll be a lot of people here who won't be able to afford those bills. You've probably
the questions.
some help. Obviously, there'll be some more help. But as I asked Rishi Sunak, do you not have to be a bit more honest with this crowd when you're talking about, you can have tax cuts? And
She does look a bit like a
But actually, you need to be a bit more honest about how much help you're going to have to give people and how much it's going to cost everybody.
So my approach is, first of all,
I like that.
to cut taxes.
That's not good.
It's not going to
Look at
work.
the size of Julia's legs compared to Liz Truss's little tiny white pins.
Yeah, but don't sell her that, Liz. It's not a good look. She looks a bit like a fucking White Walker. Doesn't she?
She's from the north.
Yeah, but
Beyond the wall.
There's pale and interesting, and then there's fucking translucent.
She's an albino.
But you're right, Julia.
Somebody's drawn on her eyebrows. Look at them.
They're tattoos, they are.
Sorry?
Pay a lot for those, John.
Somebody's gone too high on one side. The latter, she's got a lopsided. Well, she does have a lopsided face, actually.
That may be Bell's palsy.
She's got the fish hook. She's got the fish hook look.
And the fact is, we haven't been getting enough gas out of the North Sea. We haven't been moving fast enough with nuclear.
Well, whose fault's that?
We haven't been doing enough on renewable energy as well, and we need to do all of those things.
But that stupid arm.
Fix the energy problem. And rather than simply,
She's wearing Rishi's watch.
She is.
Government issued watch.
Yeah, they're obviously the tracking devices they have to wear as candidates for the Tory party.
It's the WEF control band.
Yeah.
Notice the green drink is gone now as well.
Rishi took it with him.
He did, he must have done.
I liked that green drink. I'm taking that with me.
And we will only fix it by taking those difficult decisions.
Okay. You talked about fracking, you talked about nuclear, you also mentioned businesses, which was my next question. What are you going to do to help them? They don't have a price cap. We've seen some businesses, particularly hospitality, facing 300% increases already. Realistically, you can't build a nuclear power plant quick enough to deal with the bills that are going to be facing. We're going to be seeing businesses closing.
Maybe you can keep existing ones running.
They then can't pay those taxes to help fund the growth and the like that you want to see. So what are you going to do specifically to help businesses when you get into power early September?
Well, first of all, it's about making sure we're keeping tax on business low.
For God's sake.
Reversing the national insurance increase is important, so businesses aren't paying employers' national insurance.
This is boring, though.
Corporation tax low.
She is exceedingly dull, isn't she?
She really is. I mean, that's the one thing that Rishi does have going for him. He's kind of compelling.
And he makes a good ratatouille.
Yeah, he does. He does. He makes a fantastic ratatouille.
Vichyssoise.
Those are the types of things that we
I can't stand it either, and we're trying to make it funny. We're trying.
Her hands are like putty.
Yes.
She's on strings.
They're funny looking as well. Are her fingers too short or something?
Yeah, like her legs. Look at those tiny little knees.
She's tall for a dwarf. But she has the proportions of one.
It is sclerotic. It's taking too long.
See you later, Saram.
See you later, man. Thank you for coming along.
You do this so you don't have to.
Yeah. We will endure this.
And get on with things.
We will fight on through.
Final say over housing, so they're going to get the final say over.
I'm going to crack through the system and get on with things.
I'm going to crack in a minute. I'm just going to crack.
So sharing the benefits. What people don't want is a housing estate plonked in their area with no infrastructure, with no businesses, with no jobs locally. But if you say to people, you have the freedom to decide what is going to happen, people do want the jobs. They do want the opportunities.
Well, what jobs? What opportunities?
Net zero, you talk about
where are they?
It is my view and the view of an awful lot, I think a growing number of people, maybe not as many in this room, but certainly a lot of Talk TV listeners and viewers, that energy simple, it needs to be reliable, it needs to be secure, it needs to be affordable. If it's not any of those things, it doesn't work. That's what's happening right now. We don't have a supply that is those things. And it can't be while the government is committed to net zero. It was
Correct.
a decision that was made after 90 minutes of debate.
Correct.
It was uncosted. Later, Philip Hammond said it would cost £1 trillion. Do you agree that net zero is an unremitting disaster for this country?
It is.
Abandon the policy.
So I support net zero by 2050.
Oh.
But we need to be a lot more flexible.
By 2050.
A lot more pro-business and
It needs to go completely. Get rid of it. It's going to destroy us.
It will go. It's just a trend. It's an unattainable, stupid, short-sighted goal that nobody can actually achieve.
It's literally saying these things to placate fake Gettr over there at the back.
Yeah, basically.
Over the next few years. So we need to be...
Yeah, because they've brainwashed all the kids into thinking the planet's dying.
Yeah, they do. They genuinely believe the
planet's
models.
It's greener than it's ever been in human existence because we've got a little bit of extra CO2 and all the plants are growing.
And
it's too green here. I've got mountain loads of Himalayan balsam and all sorts of mare's tail.
That's because plant food is CO2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't even know how much CO2 makes up the atmosphere. They don't know.
0.04%.
But the thing is, all of these people going out on these demonstrations, these XR lots, the Greta Thunbergs, right? They don't even know what they're talking about.
No, they think the atmosphere's like 90% CO2.
They do.
Two events happened on Monday, I think, have shocked the country. A 9-year-old girl was shot dead in her own home in Liverpool amid drug gang wars, we think. Also, at the same day, 1,300 legal migrants got on boats and arrived in this country on dinghies from France, also just in one day.
I've told you how to solve that issue. A real-life game of Minesweeper.
The Tory party stop being the party of law and order.
Well, there's no doubt that the appalling murder of a girl in Liverpool, I think struck us.
Just going to cry now.
Absolutely beyond the pale, and
they've got the guy with the Liz Truss remote control behind her. She's pushing the tears button right now.
We have more police on our streets.
It's that guy from the room next door, isn't it? What's his name? I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people are absolutely slamming Sophie Corcoran on Twitter for saying that this is an argument for legalising guns, right? But, and whilst I'm not going to outright say it's an argument for legalising guns, what I will say is right now all the bad people have the guns and they don't care about the law. So if a bad person with a gun comes and invades your home, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. So
unless you sneak up behind them.
Yeah, that's true.
When I was at school,
that's true.
People didn't know how,
but
there were rumours about whether a school...
You can't bring a knife to a gunfight.
You're not winning. Yeah.
No, you're not winning, so you can't defend yourself against that. And like I said, the bad guys are going to have the guns regardless. They don't care. They don't care about the law. So that conversation is a tough conversation, and I'm not saying there are any right or wrong answers to it, but the conversation needs to be had.
And accountability. You also asked me about...
Yeah, but people steer away from it because we're British. We don't do that sort of thing, you know.
I went through all these...
But this, there's gun crime. Gun crime is coming down in this country, but still, it's not the point. The point is that the bad guys are going to have the guns, and they're not going to not have the guns.
Wasn't there a cache of weapons found in one of those thingies that was abandoned?
There was a cache of weapons found in a factory near my house a few years ago.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there was weapons found in a box that had fallen off one of the things.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Let's talk about lockdown. It's been in the news today.
Look at the audience. They look so bored.
Hold on, she's lockdown.
Role and what he felt about lockdown at the time. We are living undoubtedly with the consequences of lockdown, whether it's the economic policy, or the crisis we have there, the health service, education, what's going on in our schools. Did you ever, at the time, in 2020 and 2021, question lockdown policy and its likely costs? And if not, why not?
Well, the answer is I did. I did question it.
Did you?
I did.
That made
I never heard to see it.
There was a specific committee, I think, with the Prime Minister, Chancellor, Health Secretary, I was trade secretary at the time, and I was spending my time going hell for leather to get all those trade deals over the line. So our job was to be able to continue exporting and be successful in the future. So
Sounds fair enough.
That's what I was doing. I mean,
I was in a position to be in the room with these people.
But I didn't really listen to what was going on.
Hold on, is this the backpedaling? This is it, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
Both the candidates have done this as well, which is astounding, isn't it?
I think there should have been more. I don't think we should have closed schools ever. No, I don't think we should. And
oh, but you didn't say it at the time, did you?
Easy now.
In hindsight, we said it up front. We got banned for it.
Yeah.
But I know.
Yeah, we got attacked for it. We got vilified for it.
Oh, granny killers.
I lost a YouTube channel for citing scientific evidence. I don't own this channel.
As a result of that, and I can assure
You're right, you don't. You're not fucking getting it.
that I would never impose a lockdown if I am selected as Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Touched on the NHS there.
She's so boring, I'm going to the toilet. Back in a moment.
Bye-bye.
As I said, I have sent Emma at YouTube a strongly worded email demanding the return of my channel.
Sometimes for more than 24 hours. We're supposed to be a first world country, and yet we don't have a first world health service. What are you going to do to make it first class?
Do you think we're a first world country anymore?
I think we're going to fall. I think we're going to fall below that line for sure if we continue down the road that we are going down, the road that they put us on.
I think we've already fallen below that test.
Perhaps. BBC is hiring freelance journalists. I just got an email.
Good.
Do you know what? As a freelance journalist, BBC.
How do we fix those
no.
problems? First of all,
I wouldn't apply even if you wanted me to.
Empowering the front line more. You know, what I've been struck by going around the country is people telling me who work in the NHS, doctors and nurses, just how many layers there are above them, how much central diktat is.
Is she talking about what we've been talking about for the last year?
They can't do it
yes.
because they're prevented from that.
Yeah.
Yes. Mismanagement in the NHS.
Yeah. She.
We also had lots of people during COVID who came and worked in the NHS as nurses, as doctors. They came out of retirement. They helped out. What could we do now to encourage those fantastic people back in to help out with what is another very, very difficult national situation? So I'd want to look at that. And we also need to look at issues like doctors' pensions, because some of these perversities in the system mean that we are losing good doctors. But one of the other reasons we're losing doctors and nurses is, you know, feeling demotivated because they don't feel empowered. So we have to change the culture of the NHS.
What's that got to do with pensions?
Not about more money.
Nothing.
It's about the culture, and lots of people in the NHS who I know and talk to say there is waste. There's waste of prescription drugs. There's waste of resources. We need to use those resources better. But the people who know are not the people sitting in Whitehall. They're the people sitting in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in King's Lynn. They're the people sitting in a doctor's home. Those are the people who know best, and those are the people we have to empower.
Okay, in a moment we'll get to audience questions. You get your hands up and we can get some microphones to the audience. That would be fantastic. My final set of questions are quick fire, short, sharp answers.
Here we go.
One-word answers, please. Put the same questions to Rishi Sunak. After 12 years of the Tories in power, can you name me a single public service in this country that works well?
No.
I think our education system has got a hell of a lot better over the past 12 years. And
what in the last 2 years?
Well, I've talked about how we shouldn't have closed down schools, but we have got better results in English and maths. More, our GCSE and exam standards are higher.
Okay.
And
this doesn't sound like a quick fire answer.
Quick fire. The audience want to ask their questions. These people have come a long way. President Macron, friend or foe?
Foe.
The jury's out. But if I
Foe. Just say it.
If I become Prime Minister,
just say it.
Qualifying.
Police officers dancing the Macarena or investigating crimes?
Investigating crime.
Can someone tell the police
That's
chiefs
what they should be doing.
Mask mandates or no mask mandates?
No mask mandates.
Yes or no? Is a trans woman a woman?
No.
The BBC.
They've both said that. That's interesting.
Yep.
I don't think anybody is neutral, and I think we're all kidding ourselves if we pretend there are institutions or people who are neutral. I'd rather have more honest bias.
Who would you rather be stuck in a lift with?
That's true.
Obama or Nicola Sturgeon?
Probably, I think Nicola Sturgeon. Why?
Oh, wow.
Well,
Because I
I'd
could
hope
beat her up.
to persuade her to be a separatist by the time we got to the ground floor.
Oh, you got
Frankly, the idea of being stuck in a lift with Keir Starmer strikes me as extremely boring.
Oh!
Oh my God! She's actually, and with that, she's won the debate.
She's just won.
Wow. Interesting. Same question.
There's a YouTube short for you, John.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's the end of my questions. And I've got
As she said, Boris Johnson was the.
Right, the chap over there. Yeah,
Right, here we go. Audience questions. Here we go.
We can keep the questions as brief as possible. We can get as many.
Oh, she's taking the red drink.
Ruth Betson, I'm the Eastern Region Chairman for CWO.
The green drink's still there.
Hi, Ruth.
Yeah. No.
Hi,
so
Ruth.
For the next general election, we need great policies, but we also need activists to get out and knock on the doors.
Don't like that word.
And campaign. If you become the leader of the Conservative Party, how are you going to help us get more activists, more boots on the ground?
Well, I've been a Conservative Party member since 1996, and I've knocked on a lot of doors. I've been a councillor, I've been a constituency
She knocked on my door, I would be
what we need to do
terrified.
She's in Yorkshire, Ben. You're safe.
Julia's got semaphore going on there.
Adam, if she becomes Prime Minister, she's got access to that bloody 747. Nobody's safe.
Not 747.
She won't be.
Whatever it is.
Not like a 10 or some shit like that.
That's when they come out and campaign.
When you see that British flag tail come flying towards your airport, run like hell!
Very alive and well in Southwest Norfolk, I point out to all the activists I see in the audience.
Right, go on with it.
Hi, my name is Dan.
Hi, Dan.
I'm told tirelessly
Dan.
that you cannot be gay and
Oh, we go.
support the Tories.
Here we go.
So what would you say to those people, and what are your main priorities for the LGBT plus community?
You're gay, Dan. You support the
I'll
Tories.
tell you what the main priority should be for the LGBT
Shut the
whatever
fuck up,
community.
John, we're like-
Yeah, the same priority that there is towards everybody else. Your people.
Conservatives, and we
Your
don't stand
people.
for identity politics. We care about your talent, your hard work, what you stand for, your character, not
So,
whether
but
you're
you
gay
care
or
for what
straight or
they can
whether
do for
you're
you,
a
not what
man
you
or
can
a
do
woman
for
or which ethnic minority background you're from. And that's why people want to join the Conservatives, because they don't want to be treated as one of a type or one of a group. They want to be treated for the people.
Yeah, some of them do, though.
She
That's why
basically just said what we just said, but with
the longer form. But
Trying to
politicians
avoid
always
questions
do.
from people who bought a T-shirt supporting their candidate, but I allowed one for Rishi, so one for you, Liz, as well. This young man at the front here.
Evening, Liz. I'm Tommy, 15-year-old school student, Norwich.
Tommy.
Just quite a simple
Poor
question.
Tommy.
How do we balance the right of trans people to be who they are with common sense, the right of people to have single-sex spaces, and the rights of women to be women?
Well, this is,
Come
thanks
back,
for your question,
political
Tommy. This is
15-year-old.
exactly what I did as Minister for Women and Equalities. I improved the process for gender recognition to make it simpler and kinder, but I was very clear that those under 18 shouldn't be able to make irreversible decisions about their own future.
Agreed.
And that we should treat everybody with respect. We should treat everybody
Agreed.
with respect, and we should treat people on the basis of what they have to offer, not on whether or not they are a
And also,
transgender or
keep
Why are these wonkers wearing masks?
Single-sex spaces, you talked about.
They're at risk,
changes and things
John.
like that, but what about the changing rooms at Marks and Spencers? Which
John, don't say it.
Oh, bringing up Marks and Spencers.
Bra fitting are open to men to use as well.
I am very clear, and I've made this clear in Parliament, that places absolutely have the ability to restrict access on the basis of biological sex.
And they should.
That is a very important right. And
We
that
do.
should be totally true in the
Do we?
public sector, in schools,
Yeah.
in domestic violence.
In the gym.
Now,
Oh yes,
I'm
you're a women-only gym,
somebody
aren't
who
you?
believes in
Yes.
freedom, and Marks and Spencer's is a shop. You know, they can decide their policies as they see fit, and I can decide to go in Marks and Spencer's or not.
Exactly.
According to whether I want to. So
I agree with that.
I think it's
Do you
different.
take your daughters to use a changing room in a shop where a man could walk in?
Well, we're going to. I have been to the bra fitting service in Marks and Spencer's, and it is always behind a curtain, Julia.
Oh, it's a bit risky.
No one has ever tried to open the curtain while I'm in there.
No wonder.
See, she's appealing to a
they
niche
saw,
area here.
They saw Liz Truss go in there. Of course, they're not opening the curtain.
There's a long
This is the Bradford area. Let's take a detour around the biggest underwear section in Scotland.
Will you commit to that being published? And given that you're reversing the national insurance increase, how would you actually plan to
Man, this woman is so boring.
Has she spoken? Did she not ask Rishi a question?
So on
I'm
the
not
national
sure.
insurance increase,
What's her name dying?
spend the 13 billion, but I would take it out of general taxation. And what we saw is the OBR forecast dramatically fluctuated. In fact, we are still able
I'm going to make a.
and start paying down the debt within 3 years.
Yes.
So I'd still spend the money.
John has always owned a
What I would
women-only
do
gym. Yeah.
Push more of it towards social care.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the vast
Always been
majority
women
is
only.
taken up by the National Health Service. And in fact, that's
He's the only man
because
there.
what we have is people in beds in the National Health Service who would really be better served by being in social care. So I will make sure more of that money goes to councils to help with social care.
I agree with that, once again.
We deal with the long-term.
A lot of bed blockers in the NHS. A lot of bed blockers.
We get that money to councils now because I know how much they are struggling.
So are we agreeing with Liz Truss more than we agreed with Rishi?
I don't.
Unfortunately, we are.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Gentleman somewhere over here with a microphone. Lovely. Could you stand up? Thank you.
Good evening. Bob Holstrom. Just
Hi, Bob.
by way of background, my colleague,
Linen suit, Bob.
colleagues and I run 1.2
Definitely not
billion
tailored.
markets. My son-in-law's a gas trader, hated person at the moment, obviously. But what worries us is the fact that you were going to have a budget and then you decided not to have a budget. For those that are not in the know, if you have a budget, you have to forecast and publish a budget.
What's he talking about? She's not a prime minister.
No, it's rambling.
Refuse not to do it. Why not?
You're freaking. You've lost it, Bob.
There have been a number of fiscal events this year, none of which
Refused
have
not
had
to do
that
it.
forecast, I would point out. Look,
I want to know what's in your
you
budget.
can call it a budget, you can call it
I want to know what he's blabbering on about.
is we take urgent
I mean, that is true. If you do have a budget, you have to give fiscal accountability, whereas if you don't, you don't.
That's true.
And I believe
JHB is looking around for a slightly more interesting question. Nobody's got one.
to make sure that we are driving investment into our
I bet Julia got about an hour into this and thought, what the hell am I doing here?
Size of those heels.
I know, I was thinking the same.
Fuck's sake. You can do some damage. You've seen them,
And it's not. She's not even on the fake tan, is she? She was on holiday again last week, wasn't she? Oh,
Look
Julia.
at the fucking size of those heels, Spencer.
to do what it takes.
And I mean, you look at the point of that stiletto. You imagine with her weight behind it, that could go right through your thigh.
Yeah. Yeah, it really could.
Lady over here.
Rachel from Norfolk, and I own an SME.
We know the video's low volume comparatively. That is the max volume that they are giving us. It's unfortunate, but that's what we've got.
I don't know the numbers. Millions of asylum seekers who are not allowed to
It's
work.
probably for the best because you're not missing much, RCW.
No.
And put money back into society.
Was that?
What's your question?
Why can't they work? Why can't they work? Why are asylum seekers not allowed to work when we have a labour shortage? Years
Well,
and years.
who says we've got a labour shortage? I can't get a job.
We also have huge numbers of people in this country, millions of people.
Why can't I get a job?
who are economically inactive. And I think it's very important.
Why can't we
that
get
are
sponsors?
encouraging more people who are currently on the welfare system.
We need a bigger
into
audience
work
first, to
and
be
getting
fair.
into those jobs, and that's a particular issue in the aftermath of COVID.
We need a better audience.
We don't enable asylum seekers to work.
We need bigger and better.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm determined to
I
make
can't
sure
believe we've made it
we
this
deal
far.
with illegal immigration.
I
And I'm
think there's only
determined to make
16 minutes
sure
left.
that we don't become a
I thought
magnet
you were talking about our channel.
No.
I can't believe we've made it. Phew, only 14 minutes now.
There's only 14 minutes left to retire. What was that movie where they had the time clock on their arm that used to run down?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I know the one you're on about, yeah.
Olivia Wilde was in it, wasn't she? She was Justin Timberlake's mother.
I was going to say, wasn't Justin Timberlake in that flick?
That's what I just said.
Yes.
She was Justin Timberlake's mother.
Yeah.
To prevent, sorry, I'm going to start again. To prevent tax
Quick fire, woman.
Raising inflation, you're going to have to cut spending.
Uh,
Where will you cut?
Steady. English isn't their first language.
I don't agree with this analysis that tax cuts deliver.
That was Rishi's sister.
The reason we
It's a plant.
is we have a supply shock.
Ask her the difficult ones, Rishi.
Caused by the global energy crisis. And what I am proposing to do, in some cases, is not raising
By what?
taxes, it's just keeping taxes low.
Global,
I can't
why?
for the life of me see why raising corporations...
Where does this global energy crisis come from?
Vaughan, this isn't OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And put this country into a recession. And
This country's already in a bloody recession.
We need to be growing our
Yeah, but where's this global energy crisis come from? Because there isn't a global energy crisis. Oil's cheaper than it's been since 2013.
Yes, you're
That
absolutely
isn't hard
correct.
to come by, unless you're Germany.
Hello, Foreign Secretary. James Noble.
Hi, James.
Saffron Walden now, formerly Brighton Kemp Town. Free
Saffron Walden now.
Great benefits of Brexit. And of course, it's got additional benefits of reducing prices in the
This
shop.
guy online or something?
He's just a Tory councillor. They're all a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Or are you a protectionist? And can we
Well, is he making a statement or asking a question?
He's asking if she's a free trader or a protectionist.
I am a free trader and I have scars on my back from the battles in Whitehall.
You dirty bitch.
We don't want to know.
Yeah, definitely don't want to know about what you get up to at night.
Oh.
I've got scars on my back.
In the bra fitting room at Marks and Spencer's.
Scars or stretch marks? What is it?
Economy, and I'm
Oh.
determined to make sure we do that and we open up those opportunities for the United Kingdom. And we've got so many great goods that we can export from this country, but of course we need to deliver it.
Jesus Christ, Vaughan, this is what happens. This is what happens to our audience. They just fall into smut.
We currently import 6% of our electricity from France.
No, I think she's riddled with cellulite, Vaughan.
Energy independence is clearly
It's either that or it's baby oil.
with Russia in the headlines. Would you sign the contract in favour of EDF and hand it to Mr. Macron?
No.
For our nuclear industry.
What?
Wales.
Well, I'm very clear that we need to boost our nuclear industry, including Sizewell, including the small modular reactors that are produced in Derbyshire. And frankly, I would rather that we do have more homegrown nuclear expertise, and regrettably we lost that because we failed to do these things 20
You
years
sold it
ago
to
or
France.
30 years ago. If it's a choice between relying on France and relying on China, I would take France.
China!
I mean, I would take France over China as well, but Macron's still a snake.
Gentleman in the t-shirt.
Oh.
If you could stand up, please.
Stand up,
Yeah.
please.
Stand up. Oh, I'm standing up. I'm a dwarf. I'm only the size of a Sunak.
To tackle the current crisis in legal aid. You've spoken a great deal about the need for more police officers on the
What crisis in legal aid?
I got legal aid just fine.
The criminal barristers in court to defend and prosecute.
Oh yes, the barristers are going on strike, aren't they?
Ginger. He's ginger. Holy fuck.
Say no to anybody, but you have
Why
said
would
no
you pick a ginger person to speak?
Well, they stand out, John.
No, but that's why you don't.
Unfair advantage to getting chosen.
They stand out so you can avoid them.
Hold on.
I have occasionally been on your show.
It is fair to ask, though, we do need to have politicians who are willing to take scrutiny and not expect soft questions.
I have
don't
done many broadcast interviews during this campaign with all sorts of people, including Nick Robinson, including Julia Hartley-Brewer, including Tom Newton-Dunn. I mean, that's pretty difficult.
But you haven't come to us, because we wouldn't give you softball questions.
Yeah.
Etherium. The market towns and cities are the hubs of our community, but yet the high street has been in decline for years.
Yes.
Business rate reform is long overdue.
Because of Amazon.
The high street's going to face some challenging times. How are you going to save the high street and support local or independent retailers?
They were obviously expecting trouble. Look at those bouncers.
I know, right? These boys look ready for it. They look ready for action.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing red ties. They're Labour supporters.
Yep.
It's far too complicated. We've got one of the most complicated tax systems in the world. And part of that will be looking at the entire business rates system and also all the other taxes we place on small businesses. We also need to look at the regulations because, frankly, it has become more complicated to run a business. And that is a problem because small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy.
Okay, just one final question.
Soundbite there.
Gentleman here, as brief as you can, please. I don't read the question, that means it's a bit long. Come on, short and sharp.
I've done it to keep it brief.
Okay.
Hello, Liz.
Hello, Liz.
Tens of thousands of qualified, experienced scientists have strongly rejected the theory of catastrophic man-made climate change.
Absolutely.
Oh.
They simply point out that the raw scientific data has never supported those claims.
Never.
This is my question. If you are successfully appointed to be our new British Prime Minister, will your government finally set up a full scientific investigation into whether this wild theory is based on real science or whether it is unscientific political propaganda?
Dogma.
It is the latter.
I mean,
It's
I already
dogma.
said earlier that I do support the net zero target, but we need to get to it in a way that works for
That's not
businesses
answering the
and
question.
consumers.
Not what he asked, Liz.
Protects our energy independence.
He's
I think
going to
that
dodge
I've
it.
seen what it is like
Dodgy, dodgy,
when
very, very
government
dodgy.
authoritarian regimes,
You
and we
dodged
need to
the
avoid
question.
that at all costs.
Okay, let's say a big thank
Yeah,
you
she's
to Liz
dodged it.
Truss taking all those
Completely dodged the question there, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, that's not the question, Liz.
It is indeed unscientific dogma, as we well know.
Right.
Right, let's hear from
We
Julia.
have just one more hustings to go, and that is next. So that concludes the leadership.
And we're not
Right,
covering
so,
that.
just finally, before you dash off, people who were undecided at the beginning of this evening, put your hands up if you're still undecided.
Lant.
A lot fewer. Put your hands up if you have.
I'm
now
still
decided.
undecided.
Very interesting. So it's been a very useful evening for all.
Who are you going to vote for?
Thank you very much.
That final question was a very, very good one.
Journey home.
It was a great question, and she really let herself down by not answering it.
And Julia let herself down by not butting in and saying, "Sorry, Miss Truss, you didn't answer that question."
Well, Julia was nothing but an enabler.
Yeah, she was nothing. She wasn't. I mean, I'll go back to what was said earlier on. She asked on Twitter what people wanted her to ask, and 9 questions out of 10 were to do with the WEF.
Yeah.
And she did not look at the popularity of that and move into it. She ignored it completely.
Down.
What's that?
Switch is down.
Is it?
Says there's a network error. Please try again.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing wrong on my end.
Click here to reload player. It's gone off mine as well.
Looking at Twitch.
Yeah, let me check
Here we
on
are.
YouTube.
It's back.
Okay, so the problem appears to have been at Twitch. Am I correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh. That's why I said Twitch is down.
Okay.
Is that a particularly challenging statement for you?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this stream, then please consider heading over to patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent, and supporting us as a whole. We do daily videos, we do these live shows 3 times a week. We provide you entertainment whilst covering the news. I hope we have entertained people sufficiently tonight. I understand it was a struggle. It was a struggle for us as well. Don't worry about that.
It was a struggle.
It was. We've been at this for 2 straight hours. Vaughan says this was mostly bollocks. Yeah, it was mostly bollocks, and all these politicians' talk is mostly bollocks, and that's why we decided to do this, because we thought you might get a little bit more entertainment coming to us than maybe trying to watch it directly. But if you want to support us, you can do so on those. Vaughan says it froze on YouTube for a second, but we're up on Twitch. We're up on everything. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. And with that,
With
good
that,
night.
sign it out properly, John.
Thank you, one and all, for attending this special edition of After Dark with Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, who have enthralled us with their wit and quick response to the questions that have been fired at her by the most excellent questionnaire, Julia Hartley-Brewer.
She was awful. Let's not be honest.
She was abysmal.
She was abysmal.
Abysmal. So with that, it's good night from me.
Good night from Adam.
Good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Thank you for tuning in if you did, and don't forget to like it, share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye for now.
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me. And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience. Still. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system. You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.